Family, good morning, good morning, good morning. We here. We glad y'all here, man. It's the cook up. I just wanted to say, man, we appreciate y'all tapping in with us every day and being here today. And today I woke up, I was feeling good. And my message for today is erase yesterday, erase the day before. If it ain't worth holding on to, don't hold on to it, baby. And we're gonna start fresh. It's a new 24, and we in the kitchen, dishes clean, pies ready, and we ready to cook up, baby. Let's get it started.
Hey, they wrote me off, I ain't write them back. Nah. Follow me, but don't double tap. I ain't liking that. You subscribe, I monetize. Now who's striking that? Wanna see the contract? Who got the rights to that? This my story, I spent my whole life on that. Time's up. Shador Sanders with the rollie in the armor. I could do this shit with my eyes closed. The main attraction don't come at me with no side show. I'm selling high, they wanna buy low.
What's popping? What's popping? What's popping, baby? Me and my boy Rock is in the kitchen. We cooking. We back to our original selves. You know, just me and my boy this time, man. No guests. We don't mind them coming through. We're gonna have some soon. But right now it's just me and my boy, man. So Rock, how you feeling, man? How you feeling this morning? Glad to see you, man. You looking bright, you looking up early.
Oh yeah.
How you doing, my brother?
Oh, I'm doing great. I appreciate that intro you had at the beginning. It was inspiring, man. And also too, that intro that Brian just cooked up for us. Damn, that was pretty good. I'm in the intro now. It feels really good.
That's how we do it, baby.
Yeah.
I said I got to get my boy on there, man. I've been hollering at Burns. I said I got to get Rock on there. He's officially a part of the kitchen, of the cook up. We need to get my boy on there, man. So
yeah, but I've had a good week. Valentine's week. Took my lady out to a restaurant I've been keeping my eye on for like 10 years. Finally got to go. Man, it was one of the best dinner experiences I ever had. From start to finish. From the appetizers, we had Wagyu. We had some lobster pasta. I had one of the best freaking desserts I've ever had. It was a carrot cake. When you could take something you don't even necessarily really like I don't even really like carrot cake. You can make it so good that you're like, man, this is one of the best freaking desserts I ever had.
Yeah.
And it was killer. And then we got our asses kicked on Valentine's Day. It's at the restaurant. And we had the busiest day we've ever had. Ever. We destroyed New Year's Eve. We had over 1,000 people come in. I guess people really love Italian on Valentine's Day.
Hey, must be love in the air, baby. They must have been kissing, eating noodles and all that good stuff, bro. So we glad, that you got to enjoy your Valentine's Day, but also make a whole lot of money, brother, in between that. So I'm glad y'all got a chance to have a good time with that, man, you and the wife. And hopefully today, man, the family that joined us on this cook up, brother. Join us in the kitchen, man. We served them right. We served them well. I'm feeling good, bro. Like I told you earlier, man, my son's birthday Sunday. So shout out Big Dollars, man. I got to get my boy out the way. And we're gonna have a good time, have a good show. So let's kind of, I guess, get straight to it, my brother. But I guess before we get too far into the show, though, right now, if y'all didn't know, we doing a draft guide, 50 of the rookies. Hey, if you're playing Dynasty, playing fantasy football, you just want to show some love to the team, you could pre-order that. Did I send you the link, Rock, or you got the link? We're going to post a link in the chat.
It's already been posted.
There we go. We're going to post a link in the chat. And I had Adam cook some stuff up. He ain't have it officially done. So when you go to the link and you pre-order, this is the preview for Ashton Genty. Kind of the breakdown as to what to look forward to, his perks, his weaknesses, his goals, his comparisons. And we got ultimately the buried grade, man. That buried grade is the grade that you need to know. And hey, my boy Burry got them skills, baby. He don't really want to get on the camera and talk much, but he stay behind the scenes and he cooks up in the kitchen. He like one of the chefs that don't come out to greet the people. He just like to stay in the kitchen and cook. So we're gonna let Burry stay in the kitchen and cook and get y'all something, man. And we working on. I thought of an idea. I'm a sneakerhead buying shoes every week. And I said, man, what would it be dope if people pre-order this or click this and they get that sneakers Nike email once they click it. So once we get the right image, we're going to have it up. But it's going to look a little something like this, man. Once you pre-order it, we're going to let you know you got it. and you good to go. Hopefully you want to share to your people, share to your friends, post it, you know what I'm saying? Show a little bit of love. So currently it's $8.99 on the site. And after the 23rd, I think it goes to $11.99. So like I said, man, if you want to know about the top offensive rookies, figure out the profiles and get ready for your draft seasons, or just get a little bit of knowledge, insight, or again, just support the team, man. Go ahead, click that link in the chat, and we appreciate y'all. So now that we got the commercials out the way, Rock, I feel like I did my job today. You know, I got the commercials out the way. We paid for the lights, and now it's good to go, bro.
Well, I do want to say real quick, the thing that I love about this draft guide, it's a collaborative effort. We got Maddie that's writing up a whole bunch of the write-ups. We got Evie, we got Mike, we got myself, we got DB. We have all these people that are coming together on the team, being able to make it the very best. So this is going to be our first draft guide, won't be our last. So it's going to be awesome. And the best thing about it, it's going to be live. Unlike any other draft guide out there, we're going to constantly be updating it. So after it's going to come out right during the combine, but it's going to be updated on the website as the athletic testing comes in, as the draft capital comes in. So we're going to be constantly updating it throughout the entire offseason. It's going to be real special.
Yeah, bro. And I saw my computer just glitched on me, man. I probably got 8 iPads on and 3 PlayStation 5s, man. It's going crazy up in here, man. So I just shut down my other screen.
Kids
so yeah, man.
Fortnite.
Y'all let they know they not home. They just left all the damn iPads on when they go to school. So hopefully, everything is good. Y'all let me know if I ain't looking crazy or if I'm looking crazy. So you know how we always start off and get it cracking, man. We got to holler at the people in the chat, man. We got my boy Jake in the building. Always pre-gaming with us, man. He was 10 minutes early. And I see a new name here, man. Honestly, I don't know who it is. It's Inner Channel Name. So shout out to you, and we're going to make your name up before the show's over, bro. We're going to give you a name.
He's already a few years in, too. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, look. Inner Channel Name, I guess what? ECN? ECN, that's your name, brother. We're going to call you that, ECN. I like that. And if you want to switch it up, I don't mind it either, though, bro. But you say you're a few beers in. That's probably why you can't come up with a name, man. You're drinking too much too early. But we appreciate you being here, man. Pops in the building. The party is started. You know how we get down, Pops. Mr. Voorhees was good, brother. Actually, you know what? Hold on. My dog ain't behind me, is he? Hold on.
Oh, man.
I gotta show my boy Mr. Voorhees, man, live and direct, man. They came in, brother. The Super Bowl Chiefs jersey is in the building, man. It's up in here. I did say I was rolling with the 3-peat, but good thing is my boy Mr. Voorhees is a Chiefs fan, and my nephew gonna get this jersey. So shout out to them, and shout out to the Chiefs, man. Straight up. My boy E in the building. Was good, bro. Terminal. What's good, brother? He said, what's good, fellas, man? Catch you live in a minute. Yeah, bro. I'm glad you're here, man. It's been a while, bro. So Theo, I ain't seen Theo in a minute either, man. We got a couple people coming in, man. You know, they got a couple of new faces and some old faces, but we glad y'all still here. And D-Walk, last but not least, is in the building. So we appreciate you, bro. And hey, my boy ECN said you gonna put the drinks down or you gonna put the name on. I don't know which one, but both are done. That's for sure. So yeah, man, let's get this show started though, Rock. I had an idea the other day, and I just said, man, you know what? It's been a lot of all-season talk and a lot of changing of quarterbacks. Well, change of quarterback talk, the new coordinators, the new head coaches. I mean, they might even be making new mascots at this point. I have no clue. But the number one landing spot, I guess, the number one coaching job opening, I guess, and the number one guy to get a coaching job was Ben Johnson. And, of course, the number one pick was Caleb Williams, right? So when you look at Caleb Williams and what he did last year, man, we really thought, generational talent. He has this ultimate super team with Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift, one of the top 5 defenses in the league. But what we didn't put in perspective was he had one of the worst, if not the worst, offensive line in the league, right? Like people forgot to look at that part. We forget about the big sexies and we look at all the outside of the car. We forget that engine that's getting us through this line. So looking at Ben Johnson, man, and the impact that he's going to bring to the Chicago Bears in 2025. I'm not sure how. I know you got a lot of stats and a lot of research you did. My boy Rock was doing overtime last night on the research, but I'm going to ask you this, Rock. More so than just overall, what's his immediate impact? What is it going to be for 2025? and then we'll kind of casually see how things go after that. But right now, we know as fans, we're not looking at 2027, 20. We want you to come in and fix this thing today. You know what I'm saying? So, what you think about Ben Johnson, man, and Caleb Williams? And a lot of people doubting that Caleb is the right quarterback for him. But Ben Johnson came out his own mouth and said, listen, I'm going to build around Caleb. I don't want to make Caleb do what I want him to do. I want to do what he already does and elevate what he does. So, what you think in 2025, bro? What they going to do this year?
So, as far as immediate impact, I got to start with the press conference. So, when Ben Johnson said that the main thing that he came for when he came to Chicago was Caleb Williams,
Yes, sir.
he had the pick of the litter. He could have gone to any team that he wanted to go to. But he says that this is a QB driven league, even more so than it is turnover ratio and defense and stuff like that. So I think Caleb played a massive role in his decision. We have to remember that he's still one of the best prospects that we have seen in quite a long time, even though he had a tough 2024 season. So one of the things that I really loved hearing about with Ben Johnson, he is curtailing the offense. And there's some serious playmakers that he has to play with on offense.
Yeah.
He has DJ,
Oh, yeah.
He has Roma Dunze. He has a tight end that was forgotten about last year, unfortunately. And he has a solid defense as well. Now, you already alluded to before, the line needs help, but they have cap space. They have 8 draft picks, including the 10th overall pick. They have 2 in the second round. And one of the nice things about this draft class is that they do have some offensive linemen that they can get at that 10th overall pick. So one of the coolest things that I was actually able to look up, if we wanted to paint this in a positive light, saying that this is an underrated move for the Bears, is looking back on some of the biggest coaching hires over the last few years. We go back to 2022 with the Giants hiring Daboll, with the Vikings hiring their coach, and the Dolphins hiring McDaniels. So at PFF, in 2021, before Daboll came in, their overall team was 30th and 31st in offense. When Daboll came in, they went all the way up to 24th in offense. So there was an immediate improvement there. The Vikings had one of the biggest improvements. They were overall 15th. Offense, they were 11th. When their head coach came in, Kevin O'Connell, they went to 4th and 5th on offense. And then Dolphins had probably the biggest one. They were overall 22nd as a team. Offensively, they were 27th. They went to, when McDaniels came in, overall, they were a 7th best team via PFF, and their offense went to 6th. That's a huge, huge improvement for their team in just 1 year. So with the Bears, they don't have like the best team via PFF. Their offense last year was rated 27th overall as a team. They were 21st.
Crazy.
Their passing was 28th. Crazy. Their running was 25th. And their line on average wasn't actually as bad as we think it was. It was 12th overall if you look at run blocking and pass. So those are that's like the best case scenario, is Ben Johnson can move that team up quite a bit. But what are you thinking, Fizz? Are you more on the positive side or negative side?
Well, I was going to ask you, all those teams that you named with the new head coaches, all of those teams had terrible defenses, though, right? When you think about O'Connell, when he was in Minnesota, Kirk Cousins was putting up 40 points a game because the defense was giving up 40. So almost every one of those coaches, McDaniels, right? Miami, other than when Vic Fangio, he just went over there to Philadelphia. Before he got there, man, Miami was terrible on defense, that we saw again. So my only thing with Ben Johnson is his defense so good that he doesn't have to put up top 5 numbers across the board, kind of like these other coaches have. But I will say this, he just left Detroit, where they had the number 1 offense and a pretty good damn defense as well. So, I mean, it's going to be tit for tat, I guess. But like I said, my only question with what you brought up with the new coaches coming in and the offense is shooting out of the gym, pretty much, will he be able to get in his bag with this offense the way he kind of should and can, or will he kind of dial it down because the defense is so good that he don't have to put up 35 points a game? Almost kind of like how the Kansas City Chiefs are. I believe the Kansas City Chiefs dialed their offense back for the last 2 years because the defense got so good they didn't need Pat to put up 4,000 yards. You know what I'm saying? So that's my only outcome. Well, my only question with what you brought up was, can Ben Johnson make Caleb be the elite quarterback that we want him to be, but he might not need him to because the defense is so good?
Well, the nice thing, I think, of all these coaching situations that are brought up from 2022 and what Ben Johnson is going into right now, Eberflus was a defensive-minded coach. So he built up that defense in the time that he was in Chicago. So I think that's one of the best things about Ben Johnson's situation is that he doesn't need to really worry about that side of the ball. And that takes a huge amount of pressure off the quarterback. We just saw that play out to a high degree in the Super Bowl with Philadelphia. Their defense was so good. It took all the pressure off of Jalen Hurts in that offense. And one of the craziest things that with those coaches that I brought for 2022, did you know that they took their team to the playoffs their first year, each one of those? So Brian Daboll, he lost to the Eagles in the divisional round. Kevin O'Connell lost to the Giants in the wild card round. Mike McDaniel, he lost
He
to
was never supposed to lose that game either. I remember that. He was never supposed to lose that game, but go ahead.
But that's crazy that they had that instant success. And I think another key factor when it comes to whether we're deciding if this is underrated, overrated impact, immediate impact, is that Ben Johnson comes from a winning culture. Brian Daboll came from the Bills. Kevin O'Connell came from the Rams. Mike McDaniel came from the 49ers. Those are some of the best franchises when it comes to consistently winning. Ben Johnson is coming from probably the most improved franchise that we've seen over the last 5 years with the Lions. They have established a winning culture. They've been in the playoffs consistently now, with MCDC. And I think that's actually why I'm pretty excited about Ben Johnson with the Bears, because he brings that winning culture. And he was a big part of that winning culture. It wasn't just him standing by,
for sure,
taking it all, and stuff like that. No, he was a huge part of that.
I feel you. So, I mean, are you rating him as over or under?
So
his impact anyway.
So everything that I just gave is underrating. Now, if I wanted to play devil's advocate, we can go that side too. If you want to go down that lane.
Go ahead, brother. Do your thing, man.
So,
let us know how you feeling, bro.
So the history of OCs becoming first-time coaches. So I already went over some of the best case scenarios in 2022 with those other three coaches. If we remember last year, Dave Canales was a huge hot name coming from the Buccaneers. He went 5-12 with the Carolina Panthers. Tough situation. Brian Callahan from the Bengals, he went 3-14 in his first season with the Titans. Shane Steichen is probably one of the better scenarios. He went 9-8 with his first year with the Colts. Nathaniel Hackett, that was really, really tough. If you remember him in Denver, that was not a good scene. 4-11 with the Broncos. So it's about a 50-50 chance of whether or not you're going to have success in that first year. And then the other thing is, too, I already went over all the Bears PFF grades on their team. The Lions, they were overall first PFF. Their offense was overall second. Their passing was sixth. Their running was seventh. Their receiving was first, and they had the 10th best offensive line. So he's going to a much, much tougher situation from being arguably one of the best teams in the NFL. But one of the things that it's hard to picture Ben Johnson taking his team to the Bears is that juggernaut of the NFC North. It is a buzzsaw of a division. The NFC North in 2024 had the highest winning percentage in any division in NFL history. If the Lions aren't losing playmakers, if they don't suffer a billion injuries on defense like they did, they're going to continue to be elite. I don't see the Vikings falling off.
Nah.
Even if we have to wait a few weeks for J.J. McCarthy, I still think they're going to be better, probably without Sam Darnold. And Packers and Jordan Love, I don't see it going anywhere as well. So they have to beat out not just they have to beat out three of the best playoff team winning franchises in the NFL to make it even to the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah. And
So it's crazy.
now the crazy part is though, not only are they three of the best teams in the NFL, they're three of the best teams in the league. I mean, in the in the NFC and in their own division. So, like you said, it's three teams in front of them that they gotta pretty much show, like, hey, we here. We not fourth place, but me personally, when they signed Ben Johnson, I say this out loud. I say it again, man. Bears to the playoffs this year, bro. I got them going to the playoffs. I'm locking them in. I can't give you how many wins, can't give you how many losses, but I got them as a playoff team because I think the roster that they have currently, if you ask me, with the coaching, there's nothing on the floor. I'm taking them over the Packers right now. I got them over the Packers. I know they got Josh Jacobs. They got Joe Love. Watson probably going to miss the whole year. They got to find another receiver. I just think this Bears team, man. Maybe I'm a Packers hater because they always beat the Cowboys too. I don't know, man. But I'm rolling with the Bears this year, playoff bound, and that's how I'm gonna solidify that one, though, Rock. So I mean, with this pick coming up, though, they got the number 10 pick. Yeah. 10th. So let's just say they want to get like the Bengals, right? Remember when the Bengals, they needed O-line so bad, and they still went out and drafted Jamar Chase and did everything else.
Chase.
They did everything else but address the O-line. What you think about this draft pick if a O-lineman is there? Is this Ashton Genty talk for real, or are they like, or we just playing around as the
the media? That's the most interesting part because I don't think Ben Johnson is going to try to fit a square peg into a round hole, you know? If there isn't a Penei Sewell, and there isn't really, I think, in this classic, a tackle of that caliber that's going to be available at that spot, man, it's going to be hard. They picked Jahmyr Gibbs really, really high.
That's why I brought it up.
It wasn't too long after Bijan Robinson. So if you have someone who could be a generational running back, I mean, if you got the wide receivers and you got the running back, it's just like, and you have all this cap space to play with as well. If you ain't going to see that generational tackle there, then don't
just take somebody just because of need, right?
Yeah. So in the best franchises, they always go best player.
Best player. Yep.
So I think they have some flexibility.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you, man. So I got the Bears in the playoffs. Where you got them at, though, before we get off the Bears, bro?
I don't have them making the playoffs. I mean, it would be nice if they made the playoffs because then you would owe me and MD $100. I haven't forgotten about that bet from last year. Yeah, see, I remember. I have it written down. But here's the thing: with Ben Johnson, he does give them the best chance to be able to get through, the schedule and stuff like that. But man, it's gonna be really, really, really tough. I still think LaFleur, just with the experience he has, Jordan Love, highly underrated quarterback. And if they are the third or fourth best team, man, it's going to be real tough sledding. And the ultimate equalizer is injuries, of course. So let's just see how they look through the first month. But yeah, they're definitely going to be a lot more watchable than they have been over the last few years.
I like that word, watchable, because they definitely weren't watchable last year. So shout out Chicago, man. I ain't never had a Chicago pizza, but one of these days, man, I might try that out, bro. So moving on from Chicago and flying down south where the Super Bowl was, let's check out New Orleans right quick, man. Kellen Moore, one of the guys I love talking about. I love talking, all this shit about, man. Can't stand him. I couldn't stand him in Dallas. People know my hate relationship with Kellen Moore.
But why is that? Is that because of his face or something? Why do you hate Kellen Moore so much?
Because, bro, his offense for Dallas was never the recipe. It was a disaster for Dak, and I never liked it because Dak is a product of that. I believe the reason why Dak folds and doesn't know how to move around sometime and gets lost and not confident because he had a coach like Kellen Moore who was teaching him, bro. And I just don't think Kellen Moore led him the right way. I think Kellen Moore
confidence, does he?
I think Kellen Moore gave him the freedom to just do what he wanted, but I don't think he led him to be a quarterback. So when you look at those seasons where Dallas missed the playoffs or lost the first week, a lot of that was Kellen Moore just saying, "Hey, man, just keep throwing it." So he ran Zeke out of town, I believe, when they thought Tony Pollard was it, and we saw Tony Pollard wasn't it, and I just don't like his coaching style for my team, which is what really ultimately. Perfect example. If Kellen Moore did what he did in Dallas, in Philly, it wouldn't be no reason for Saquon Barkley to be there. I don't even believe that was his playbook they was calling, because Saquon Barkley was literally the whole offense for 17 games. You know what I'm saying? So I just didn't. If we had that type of formula when we had a prime Zeke, instead of throwing the ball 58 times with that, it just didn't make sense, which is why the Eagles won the Super Bowl, because they didn't let Kellen Moore pull a Dak. They let them do the offense the right way with the right O-line, the good running back, and let Jalen Hurts come in when he need to. You know what I'm saying? So that's my biggest thing with Kellen Moore. It was more so what he did with my team, and nobody over top of him saying, hey, this isn't the right thing. We got an offensive line. We got a running back. Run the damn ball. So that's my only beef with him. But neither here nor there, man. He out of Dallas. He out of Philly, man. You got him.
Yeah, what's he going to do in New Orleans? What do you think he's going to do there?
In New Orleans? That's the question, right? So can he turn his team around? The biggest question for me is it a team even there, right? When you look at this team, bro, they $60 million over the cap once again. They got a pretty solid defense, though. The defense ain't that bad, man. But I believe if the Saints weren't in the division they were in, like if they were in the NFC North, bro, they probably win 3 games. You know what I'm saying? Like the division that they're in kind of keeps them in this mode where they act like they can compete, right? You got the Carolina Panthers, you got the Atlanta Falcons, and the Bucks. And I still believe the Bucks are currently the best team. But man, Kellen Moore with the Saints, to me, I'm talking about everything but them turning him around, bro. But I just want to say, if I'm Kellen Moore, I'm not leaving the Super Bowl champs, bro. I get it that we all want to be the.
That's too late. He already did. He already signed.
I get it. I know, Rock. I know. I'm talking about old news. My bad, man. I'm gonna just move on from what I'm talking about. So Kellen Moore, can he turn around the Saints? When we say turn around, what do we mean, though? Right? Do we mean I think they picked what 7 this year, or is it? I forgot what pick it is, but. Can they be picked 10? Can they win 3 more games than what they won this year? I just don't think they don't have a good team, bro. I don't like the team. Chris Olave is 1 concussion away from maybe retiring. I'm hearing he might be up for trade if that comes up. Derek Carr is pretty much just playing like, hey, I'm the end of my career. I'm just going out with a bang, just throwing the ball wherever, doing whatever I want. Alvin Kamara he acts like he wanted the raise. He got the raise, but then he act like, I don't really want to be here. So where do they go? Like, what do they do, with that pick? If I'm them, I'm not drafting nobody. I just want to get out of it, trade back, get more picks, generate more talent, and hopefully get out of this cap hell, man, because $60 million over the cap, bro, is crazy. And it's been like that for like 3-4 years since Michael Thomas was there. So,
oh, yeah.
I'm talking about everything but Kellen Moore, my bad, bro. But I would.
It's all good. It's a whole situation.
Yeah, can he turn around the Saints? I will say he can make them look more offensively better than they were. So if the turnaround is them not getting blown out, and let's just say Spencer Rattler, right? Rattler kind of looked rattled when he came in a lot of those games. But if Kellen Moore was there, Rattler might have looked a lot better. So I believe whoever is the receivers there, if Olave isn't playing, or if he is, he will have them at 800, 900,000 yard type seasons. I do believe that. I just don't know if it will equal to wins on the scoreboard for the franchise. So offensively, yes, he could turn them around. But the overall team morale, no, I don't trust it at all, bro. I said all that to say he can't turn the team around, but the offense, they're going to be clicking on all cylinders at some point during the season, though.
All right, so I'm going to try to argue from the other side, and we all know that the Saints were the worst situation. It was not the pick of the litter when it came to the coaches. They were the last one to hire a coach.
My boy Jake heard that Panthers, huh?
Oh, yeah. Good luck with that. The Saints, like you said, $59 million over in the effective cap space. But I started looking at over the last couple of years, which teams had the worst cap space. Did you know that Jim Harbaugh coming into the Chargers last year, they had the worst cap situation? They had $33 million over the cap. They made the playoffs. Brian Callahan came to the Titans with the second best cap situation. They had $69 million to play with, and they were dog shit because of their quarterback. So it's just like you can have the worst cap situation or you can have the best. it don't necessarily always matter. It's what you do with that. The
For sure.
Packers. The Packers were the last time we had a team that came anywhere close, Fizz, to their situation. They were $45 million over the cap in 2022, which is absolutely crazy. That was the final year of the Rodgers and Devontae Adams era, unfortunately.
Okay.
But the Packers, they got through it. And they've been in the playoffs the last 2 seasons. So why can't the Saints, who are one of the worst divisions in football, with the Panthers, with the Falcons, and with the Buccaneers. I just had to say that for Jake. Sorry about that, Jake. But they are one of the easiest divisions in football. And they did surprise people. They caught people off guard with that sneak attack last year, going, what was it, like 2-0, and beating the shit out of teams and stuff like that. And then they lost all the rest of it.
Yeah, of course they beat Dallas, right? they beat Dallas and then said, all right, it's time to lose now. We got them out the way. Let's not just lose the rest of these games, man. That was crazy. But go ahead.
So there is precedent. They have to, put that piece of thread through that needle. It's going to be really, really tough, but it is possible. It just depends on whether or not you believe in Kellen more. So, but to your point though, when it comes to the Saints draft history, do you know that the Saints are probably one of the worst drafting teams in the NFL? Why I kind of side with you, actually, if I have to be pushed to shove. Since 2008, the Saints have executed 26 trades in the draft. All of them to move up for a player. They've given up so many picks since 2008 just to get this, their players that they want so badly, and they end up not ever working
and don't win with them, right?
Exactly. They are the opposite of the teardown king with Mike. They have paid up for all these players. They have no depth and no talent. They've always traded up. So hopefully Kellen Moore is like, enough with this. We're going to start trading backwards.
Thank you.
Let's do the opposite of what we've been doing. But it's been crazy, man. It's crazy. What do you think of this team, though? What about some of these players that are on the team? Do you think that they're going to have to cut bait with them? Who do you think they're going to keep, Fizz?
I think this is the destination where we're going to get to a team that I think is a new destination for players that want to go. I think this is a destination for players that don't want to be there, but you got to pay them. Like, Jacksonville had that thing where they overpaid Christian Kirk. They overpaid Gabe Davis. It's like, if you're going to make me come to Jacksonville, you're going to have to overpay me. And I think New Orleans is that destination, but they don't have no money to pay them. So now I think you break down the logistics of who's too old to be here and who do we build with. If I'm New Orleans, I'm looking at fire sale, bro. Alvin Kamara, we don't need you, right? Derek Carr, if you want to stay here, cool.
Not
but
Alvin, man, not Alvin. He's my.
They just paid him, but I'm just saying, if I walk in the door under this regime, bro, I'm letting them know we are rebuild. Like, the New Orleans Saints have been a rebuild team, bro, for the last 3 years. And they have yet to take the steps to actually try to rebuild. They just keep adding old player on top of old player, and it's not working. So if I'm Kellen Moore, my rule of coming as your coach is I need to get rid of everybody that isn't going to help us in the next 2 to 3 years. If you only a 1 year guy, I don't need you here, especially if you an older guy. I mean, we need a little bit of locker room presence and, those guiding tools, but make those the guys that's making the least amount of money who can still hang around. But if you around and we just paid Alvin Kamara, by the time Alvin Kamara's 2-year contract is up, they just gave him, bro, they're still going to be picking in the top 10 both those years. So why do we need to pay him to stay here? I'm calling the Chiefs. I'm looking at all these running back rooms. Dallas, hey, y'all need a running back. All these teams that need a running back.
They already got the Chiefs running back. They got Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
You're right. Damn, they did sign him, right? So that's what I'm saying, bro. Alvin Kamara is gone to me. Anybody I could think of, man, Cam Johnson, hey, we salute you, bro. But Cam Jordan, there we go. Cam Jordan. Look, Michael Jordan's birthday was yesterday, too. I forget that. But Cam Jordan, hey, bro, we salute you. If you want to be a Saint for life, cool. But we got to do it's nothing, try to show a little bit of respect to the guys that have been around through it. But at the end of the day, bro, we are in rebuild mode. If you plan on winning with this team, just ask for a trade because we're not going to win. We're going to try to win, but the goal is to fix what's broken. And right now, they are a broken team. But to speak on the topic last for me, Kellen Moore will have this offense looking better than just 2 games last year when
Mhm.
they all of a sudden look good. So I will give them the offensive side. I just don't know as a complete team what they'll do at all.
Yeah, the main thing I gotta disagree with is jettison Alvin Kamara. I mean, he has been their franchise the same way that CMC has been, teams' offense for however long he's been in the league. I think it's since 2018 or something like that. But yeah, he's been one of the top 3 running backs. It's been him, Derrick Henry, and CMC. So you can't let someone like that go because he is 50%, if not more, than the offense. Because if you're going to send away Alvin Kamara, that means that you're trusting in Derek Carr, who you can't make him the focal point of the offense because he's like a top 20 to 25 quarterback. He is at very best mediocre. And I know how much you love Derek Carr. So if you're sending away Alvin Kamara, you're putting all your hope in Derek Carr and Chris Olave not getting murdered over the middle of the field because of his passes and stuff like that. You have to hold on to him. I completely agree. You have to make some really tough decisions when it comes to the roster. You're going to have to cut some players, some cornerstone pieces like Cameron Jordan. But you're right. They do have to start rebuilding. Most of the roster is going to have to be 1-year deals. This is how the NFL works, but just for depth and stuff like that. But if they don't trade back and start accumulating some of these picks, start hitting on some of these picks, man, they ain't going to have no one to play on Sundays. So if you're going to cut all these players, you cut all these contracts. So they're definitely going to have to make some tough decisions. Kellen Moore has the biggest, hill to climb, but I love an underdog story. I love teams and coaches that people think, oh, no one wants him. He's not going to do anything and stuff like that. Those are the types of situations we're most surprised by.
Well, get rid of Carr, get Winston back, and we right back on track, baby. But
there we go.
I will say to close out though, my point with Alvin Kamara was, like you said, he is 50% of the offense, and Kellen Moore can't do much without him. But like you just said, Derrick Henry and CMC, both of those guys are gone from their team, from the original teams, right? Devontae Adams, he's gone from the pack. We fall in love with these guys because we know what they bring to the team. But if they're not going to help us win the ultimate goal of being better each year, what are we hanging them around for? And I feel like if you ever going to replace Kamara, this is the year. The running back class coming out this year, bro. If you ever going to shoot your shot at a running back or two to replace Alvin Kamara, you better do it in 2025. Because if you skip over all these running backs coming out thinking we're going to hold on to Kamara for the next 2 years, you done wasted, it's going to be a team behind you or behind that who's going to get 2 or 3 of these young guys coming in, man, in this class. And we all praise this running back class. So if you ever going to bet on a running back to replace a guy like Kamara, it better be in 2025. So
I actually really, really like that point. I love Alvin Kamara so much. But they need to treat him like Saquon Barkley. Send him to Washington. They need a running back over there. He's going to be on a winning team.
Exactly. Yep.
So, yeah, you make a really great point there.
Yeah, that's it, bro. So I threw this one on the fly. You ain't know about this one. You don't got your notes. It's all the top of the head, man.
Man.
This move right here, bro. The slot machine dream team. We got the old guys in the building. Chip Kelly, Pete Carroll, man. They out there in Las Vegas. They're gonna be sleeping at the slots all night, all day, man. I know you wasn't prepared for this one, so I said let me hit my boy with something new. He might not be ready for. We keep it short. We ain't gotta go too long, but the slot machine dream team, bro. Chip Kelly, Pete Carroll. How you feeling about this move out there in Vegas, man?
Well, this is one of my favorite hires. When we talked about all the coaches and stuff like that. I love Pete Carroll because of the vibe that he brings. He brings so much positive energy. That's what I love.
Make you want to work.
Exactly. That's what I also love about my coach, John Harbaugh, for the Baltimore Ravens. He's always so positive. He's always behind his players. He always puts them in the best position to succeed and stuff like that. I think Pete Carroll, he understands that the NFL is changing, so he has to surround himself with good OCs and DCs and just coordinators in general and stuff like that. Say what you want to say about Chip Kelly. I'm going to be very, very interested in who they draft at quarterback, if they do draft at quarterback. Because
hearing Jackson Dart is available, keep talking about Dart, man.
Yeah, Jackson Dart, if people don't know, he's not just one of my favorite quarterbacks in the draft. Right now, he's my QB1 in the class. So
Hold up, Rock.
I'm gonna be doing a write up on him. So tune in for that draft guide. Make sure you get a copy of it, and then you'll see why I have Jackson Dart as the #1 quarterback in this class. So if they get someone of his caliber, if they get a Shedeur Sanders, they're not going to be able to get Cam Ward unless they trade up to get him. But depending on who they get at quarterback, man, they have one of the best playmakers on offense in Brock Bowers. They have one of the most solid wide receivers as far as like a number 2 goes in Jacoby Myers. They have the offensive pieces. If they get a running back in this class that is just chock full of them, on day 2 or day 3, that could solve that issue. There's also going to be what is it called? They can also get people in free agency and stuff like that. They have cap space to be able to work with. Pete Carroll has just consistently taken his team to the playoffs. So it's just like with his pedigree, with his experience, being a Super Bowl winning coach, and also having Tom Brady behind the scenes, pulling the strings, saying, "Oh yeah, this quarterback, I like this, I like that." Man, Las Vegas is going to continue to be one of the best destinations in the NFL. But how are you feeling about Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly?
Well, to hit that Jackson Dart 101, bro, I gotta get at it. I gotta get that. Whoa. I've been hearing a lot about my boy Dart, man, but I ain't know about that one. So shout out to you on that one. But I will say, when you look at destinations, if I'm a younger guy who wants to take a chance, bet on the opportunity, you're not coming into a winning right away situation, right? So if you're a vet, why would Devontae Adams just left, but let's just say, why would he go back, right? But if I'm a young guy looking to get paid, have a little bit of fun with it, inspiring coach, and live in Vegas, like shoot my shot under Tom Brady, they have everything in the top office down to the bottom in the, with Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly. Let's just say his offense. We saw what he did in Ohio State. We know Chip is one of those high-paced, high-offense type of guys. If I'm a young guy, man, looking for a contract or looking for a new home, I might look at Vegas, man, because it's a destination, right? Pete Carroll is there, like you just said. He loves his players. He loves the energy and the vibe that he brings, but he also wins games. He finds a way to win games. So if I'm a young free agent, man, or just a young player looking to play in Vegas, bro, I would love to go there. I'm not sure what that equals with Max Crosby because, at some point he's going to say, look, man, Myles Garrett, right? Hey, I'm tired of hanging around here not winning. Get me out of here. So I'm not. Max seems like the ultimate Raider, though. I hope he doesn't say I want to leave because he seems like the ultimate Raider. But I say this. I like it because they're both older coaches who seem like they on the same level. And I believe him and Chip won't butt heads. And if they do, it'd be like 2 old dudes arguing at the table. You know what I'm saying? Like they got like an old conversation argument. So I like them 2 being on the same because it's like a wild card. This is literally like
they're an odd couple. They're an odd couple,
bro. This is smoking aces. Like literally 2 guys playing cards. And you look at your hand and you're like, bro, these cards don't go together. That's these 2, but it's gonna make them work though. And I think this is gonna be a fun team to watch and be around. And knowing they got guys like Brock Bowers and a rookie quarterback, or maybe they bring in a Russell Wilson, Sam Darnold. Who knows? Whoever is there though, we do know that Chip Kelly is going to get Brock Bowers that ball, and he will elevate Brock probably more than what he was last year. So if you thought Brock had a breakout season last year. You thought Brock had a breakout season last year. You can bank on 2025 that Chip Kelly gonna find a way to make Brock tight end one, like with a dart sitting beside it. So,
I like that.
Shout out to Vegas, man. I had to throw that one right there on you, bro. I know you weren't ready for that one. So,
I was right. How do you think I did? I thought I did.
You was good. You was good, bro. Hey, listen, man. Slot team, dream machine, baby. That's my phrase for him. That's what we're gonna call them. We're going to get into this next one, though. A couple of older guys as well at their positions, respectfully. 2 of my guys, but the one on the right is definitely my guy, man. So what's going down in L.A., baby? What is life? Possibly. We know Cup is leaving, and I'm hearing they might not even trade him. They might just cut him, and which is crazy, bro. Did he go upstairs and cut somebody out? Like, it seemed like
I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know anything about that.
I'm just saying it seemed like the love between McVay and Stafford was, they was literally sipping Cooper cups at coffee time. And now it's like we ready to get rid of him, get him out of the building. Like, I don't know what that happened, bro. It just feels kind of weird, but I'm hearing they might just cut him and not even trade him. So, unfortunately, we know Cup is leaving. Stafford, I'm hearing that the Rams want to trade Stafford for the number 3 pick with the Giants, and I'm like, what is this? So, I mean, are the Giants going to trade the number 3 overall pick for a guy that might retire in a year?
Hell
I have
no.
like that doesn't even make sense. But regardless, the one thing we do know, the guy right there holding the pen and the marker with his finger on his hand on his chin, he's going to figure it out. No matter who's there, what pieces around, he's going to figure out a scheme to make it work. So ultimately, though, life in LA without Stafford and Cup, man, what's that going to look like, Rock? And if Stafford stays, what would that look like without Cup? Like, but for both of them right now, for the first conversation, what would it look like without both?
All right. So if we want to start the conversation with Stafford and Cup leaving, Cup, if you guys remember, and if you guys have him in fantasy, you're definitely going to remember, Cup cliffed at the worst possible time last year. I was writing all about him last year, being like, his target value is insane. He's going to be a season winner in your dynasty leagues. Make sure that you trade for him. Man, he went from a potential season winning buy last year with all those targets to complete bust. He had 17 targets.
Don't say that too loud, Rock. Come on, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. No,
I love Cup, man. Go ahead.
10 catches, 17 targets, 143 yards, and 0 touchdowns in 5 games. That's it. There's wide receivers that get all that in one game.
Hey, Rock, don't mean to cut you off. Remember that first game when he had that breakout game when it was like week 2, I think, and he had like 20 targets and 100-some yards, and we just knew you can go back on Twitter timeline. Cup is back. I've been telling y'all he ain't gone, and then it just like you never saw that Cup again, man. It was a hole in the Cup after that one, though, bro.
Yeah, exactly. He was good for about 2 games, and then, or actually for about half the season, and just like nothing. Just absolutely
I'm gonna find
nothing.
that game. Yep.
So then, when it comes to Stafford, he fell off too. So he was a top 12 quarterback in QBR. He's a top 9 in pass attempts per game. Those are 2 of the metrics that I look at when I'm evaluating quarterbacks and where I want to rank them and stuff like that. But outside of those 2 categories, Fizz, that was it. He wasn't top 12 and nothing else. And it showed on the field. They tried to become a run-first team with Kyron Williams, who I absolutely love. And when Puka came in, he just completely took over that offense. But ranking outside the top 12 in all these major categories, Cooper Kupp just completely just cliffing at the worst possible time. Man, sometimes you just gotta appreciate the memories that you had.
You do.
And then move on. And then that's it.
I hold on too long, bro. I hold on too long, man. I miss my boy Cup. I ain't even get a Cup jersey yet, and he leaving, man. What the hell going on, man?
So, do you think that they stick with Cup, or they're not going to stick with Cup? I think we already know that. Are they going to stick with Stafford? Do you think that they stick with Stafford?
I think so, bro. Because regardless of, let's just say they get the 103, right? I do think they're in a youth movement, though. If you look at the defense, bro, that defense is maybe the youngest in the league, and they had defensive rookie of the year with Verse. They played great, even during the playoffs, even the Philly game, man. I mean, Saquon had a big run towards the end, but the defense was on point. It was more so just the offense fumbling 3 times that kind of lost them the game. So going into, losing Aaron Donald and all these older guys kind of leaving, now you got this youth movement on defense, but offensively, they still a little old, man. So, I mean, to move on from Matt Stafford, you got to make sure you're right. I think they tried to get Bryce Young when the Panthers claimed he was available. Then they told him no. So the signs were there that they was, looking forward to maybe replacing Stafford at some point. But I think now it's just going to come down to right opportunity. I think if they believe they can get the 103, I think they would do it. But I don't think they're going to just move on from Stafford and say we're going to get Quinn Ewers and pick at the 3rd round and start him on week 1. You know what I'm saying? So I think it got to make sense for them to just say this year Stafford's out of here and we're going to move on. So I say all that to say I believe Stafford will be there for 2025, though.
So with Les Snead and Sean McVay, they are one of the best GM head coach duos, I think, in the league.
Yeah, after them picks, man. You heard what they said?
They've been able to do both ways. They've been able to go all in for a Super Bowl, but then over the last couple of years, just hit in the draft. So it's just like if they can win through the free agency, if they can win through the draft, man, this team could be. It doesn't even have to go through a rebuild. They can just go through a reload.
They actually going in a rebuild right now, and they still make the playoff. That's the crazy part, Rock. So they in a rebuild right now, but they a playoff team.
Exactly. So like whenever I think of a team that is changing, but then you still has that success, I call it a reload. They're just basically reloading up for more. They're putting new bullets in the chamber,
Loading
and
the chamber.
Still going out. Like they're still going out for blood and stuff like that. So if they move on from Stafford, I think it will have to be after the NFL draft. They're going to have to see if their quarterback of the future is available for them during those 3 days in Lambeau. But if not, to your argument, if they do keep Stafford, I think this is going to be the reason why. Sam Darnold is the only viable quarterback to likely hit free agency. So if he turns into a pumpkin again at the worst moment, man, McVay won't want to have to do anything with that,
Right.
The Rams have the 26th overall pick. There is no way, unless they trade Stafford, that they're going to be able to get into the top 10. It's just going to cost way too damn much. And I think all three quarterbacks, Jackson Dart, Shedeur Sanders, and Cameron Ward, they're going to all go, I think, in the top 10. I think they're going to all be gone by then because there's just too many QB-needy teams. There's not enough quarterbacks that are in free agency.
I'm hearing Seattle might be looking at Dart. So
there you go. Yeah. So I think lots of teams that are looking at that. So if I'm going to definitely pick, despite everything I said about Stafford not being in the top 12, I don't think he is a top 12 quarterback. But, man, he is certainly way better than Sam Darnold. And you have to ask yourself, is he better than the top 3 rookies in this class? A lot of people would argue, yes, he is. He's got the experience. Sure. He still has an arm. So I think it's going to be tough to know which way he's going to go. I have no idea. I really don't know. Because Sean McVay and Les Snead, they're tricky. Sometimes.
I'll say for 2025, I want to see Stafford there. I don't want to see him leave. And then I believe now if they find their guy in this class in the second or third round to sit behind Stafford, cool. But this year, with Puka being, I guess, officially the number 1, I don't want to see his fall off with a rookie trying to figure it out. I just want to see Stafford keep things level, keep the water level and, get us through this patch of my boy Cup leaving the cupboard, man. I need, no more cups in the pantry, man. So, shout out my boy, man. But that was a good look, man. On the first couple of teams, man. Listen, we got a little intermission for y'all. We're gonna take a little break and right back, man. My boy Rock got something cooking up for y'all right after this. So we'll be right back, baby.
Welcome to South Harmon. We glad you here today. Like and subscribe, that's what we really appreciate. Welcome to South Harmon, we glad you here today. Like and subscribe, that's what we really appreciate.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We glad y'all back, man. Listen, hope y'all like that. Like and subscribe. We need y'all to like it. We need you to subscribe and definitely share it, man. Don't be afraid to come back after the show. You might have missed the part. You might have had to go back to work. Don't be afraid to tap back in, leave some comments, man, later on. We always try to reply and stay active. So we appreciate y'all being here. But without further ado, man, my boy Rock, for those that didn't know, I remember Jake said on Friday night show with Mike, he's like, man, I didn't know T-Rock was actually a chef. Like, he's in the kitchen and that's why he on the cook up. Come on, Jake, man. My boy on the cook up because he's a chef, baby, So shout out my boy Rock, man. We're gonna give him his flowers, man, before we move on to the next topic. And Rock, what's on the menu, man? What's cooking good looking is what you wanted me to say, right? So what's cooking good looking? What we got popping, baby? Rock gonna give y'all a quick little rundown of maybe a recipe, a quick little something, man. You could whip up for this cold winter weather. What we got, Rock? I'm mute my mic, baby. It's all on you.
No, don't mute it because we're gonna go back and forth. We're gonna talk a little bit about food, but we're both passionate about sports, Fizz. Another thing that I'm passionate about is food. I love being able to share my passion at the expo. So make sure that you come to Canton this year so you get to taste some of that food. But now, here in the cook up, I want to share some of that passion with you guys with a new segment like what Fizz just called What's Cooking, Good Looking. So, with the weather being cold outside, one of my favorite things, Fizz, is a nice bowl of hot chili. So, I'm gonna share with you guys one of my favorite chili recipes out there. So, this comes from this book right here, Binging with Babish. And we're going to be cooking. One of the cool things about him is that he combines his love of film and television with recipes. So there is this famous episode of The Office where Kellen has this chili competition. So he spends all night making this chili. And well, you remember what happens, Fizz, right? He gets all excited and stuff like that. And he trips. And that chili just goes, oh, there he goes right there. Oh, shit. I don't know if you remember.
There you go, Rock.
Oh, my God. Then you see the look on his face. He's like, oh, God. Oh, God. And he just freaking just puts it right back in the pot and stuff like that. So we're going to be recreating that same recipe right there. So you guys can either look that recipe up on Binging with Babbage YouTube video, but I'm going to give it to you here right now. So here are the materials you're going to need, Fizz. You're going to need a pan. You're going to need some kitchen shears. You're going to need a food processor, and you're going to need a stock pot. So that food processor, not a lot of people had it. I bought it just for this recipe. After you buy it, you'll never have to buy it again, and you'll use it all the time. So food processor is just a big giant blender. We use it all the time at the restaurant. Here are the ingredients you're going to need. You're going to need 3 ounces of dried ancho chilies. You're going to need 1 ounce of dried cascabel chilies. So you got to get those authentic Mexican spices. So you're going to have to go to your Mexican grocery store.
All authentic, baby.
Yeah, all authentic. So that's one of the nicest things I love about recipes is that it forces you to travel and get to know your community. So I'm always in the what is it called? The Mexican grocery stores. I'm always in the Asian ones and stuff like that. Get to learn about all these different foods from around the world. So you definitely need those chilies. You're going to need a tablespoon of cocoa powder. You're going to need 3 tablespoons of cornmeal, tablespoon of ground cumin, oregano. You're going to need 24 ounces of chicken stock, 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, and you're going to need, so let me ask you this, Fizz. When you cook chili, what protein do you usually use? Do you usually like ground beef? Do you like chicken?
Well, I'm a turkey guy. I use the ground turkey, brother. That's what I use for my chili.
So that's definitely an option you can go with this. What I really like is steak. So
okay, I know you a steak guy. I know you a steak guy for sure.
So it's just like anytime you have recipes and it's just like, man, it's just like I kind of want to elevate this dish. Man, go to the top of the food table, man. So 3 pounds of chuck steak. You can either do chuck steak, shoulder steak, chuck blade steak, top sirloin steak. Use any of those types of options. You don't want to go filet mignon. You don't want to go ribeye. Don't be spending like $40 to $50 on a bowl of chili and stuff like that. So after you get your 3 pounds of chuck steak, get a Spanish onion, 2 jalapenos. If you want it real nice and spicy, you do a habanero. I don't do the habanero. It's a little bit too spicy for me.
Yeah. You're going to need some milk, Playboy, after that.
Absolutely. 4 cloves of garlic, 8 ounces of Mexican lager. I'm a Modelo guy, so I get one of those big cans of Modelo, and I drink a little bit while I'm making some food. You can do 6 Roma tomatoes, or you can just do a can if you don't feel like chopping that shit up. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 12 ounces of red kidney beans, and salt and pepper, shredded white cheddar cheese, sour cream. Now, that is a lot of ingredients. So let's put it all together. So the first thing you're going to do is dice up that beef into small cubes, about 1/4 inch. You're going to want to dice up your onion. You're going to want to de-seed and dice up your jalapeno. You want to core and dice up those tomatoes. You want to get all that done out of the way, because if you don't do it right at the beginning and you try cooking at the same time as you're chopping up shit, you're going to get really overwhelmed. It's going to feel like my restaurant on Valentine's Day. You don't want to do that, where it's just moving $1 million per minute. Here's what you want to do with those chilies that I was talking about earlier. You're going to want to cut those up using those pairs of scissors. You're going to want to de-seed them. So you want to cut around the stem, and you want to cut them into small pieces. And you want to take that pan I was talking about earlier. You're going to want to put it over medium heat till it gets nice and toasted and barely smoking, Fizz. Take that after it's been on the pan, put it in the food processor. Process it until it's reduced fine powder. So it's about 3 minutes. It's going to be in there for a while. It's going to get loud. Add cocoa powder, cornmeal, cumin, oregano, pulse to combine. So that's going to be your spice mix. That's what's going to give the depth of flavor and all that rich mahogany dark color to your chili. That's what's going to set it apart. Add about 3/4 of a cup of the chicken stock I was talking about earlier. Blend it until a paste forms. Set aside. Now, after, make sure when you're doing this, don't do what I did, Fizz. Do not put your face in that thing. It's going to be like with all those peppers and stuff like that. If you breathe that in, you're going to go down for the count. It's going to be like, not do that. Well,
go ahead, Rock. Cook it up, bro.
So then in your stock pot, you're going to want to take that vegetable oil. You're going to want to cook it at a medium-high heat. And you're going to want to take the beef. Do not put all 3 pounds of beef at once, or else it's not going to brown very well. You're going to want to brown all that beef that I was talking about earlier. Once you do that, you set that aside. In that same stock pot, without cleaning it out, you're going to want to add all your vegetables, onions, jalapenos, that habanero, you're going to do that, and the garlic, and you're going to want to sweat it and then deglaze it with that Mexican lager I was talking about earlier. Get yourself a Modelo. Then add your tomatoes, brown sugar, kidney beans, beef, spice paste, and the rest of your chicken stock. And once you got all that, Fizz, then you just let that simmer for 2 to 3 hours.
2 to 3 hours.
You put the lid on, slightly ajar, and if you don't want to use the stovetop, set your oven to 300 degrees. And then that's it. And in 2 to 3 hours, once that thing is thickened up, once the beef is real nice and tender, season with salt and pepper to your liking. And I don't know how you like your chili. How do you usually do it? Do you usually put different condiments on it and stuff like that?
Not really, Rock. You know what? I like tortilla chips. I like eating with tortilla chips. It'd be bomb like that. I like tortilla chips.
This is what I want you next time you have this chili. When you make this with this recipe right here, take a piece of cornbread. You go to
I like garlic bread. Garlic bread too.
Oh, okay. Do either a piece of cornbread or garlic bread. Put it at the bottom of your bowl. Then take that chili, put it over top of that, and then put some sour cream, some green onions on top of that, and get a big old bag of tortilla chips. Just that's your spoon. You don't even need a spoon. Just use the tortilla chips as a spoon,
bro. Yep.
So you can either do that, or you can do like Jack and Diane, sucking on chili dogs. Put that over some hot dogs behind the Tasty Freeze. So those are the 2 ways I like to go with it as well. So that's the first recipe we got, Fizz. How does that sound?
That was good, bro. I will say though, we need you to make a menu and list it because you say a lot of stuff. And people,
I know. We'll do that next time. We're gonna do that next time. I'll send you that.
Just the first one. We're gonna show it up on there, bro. That way you can kind of break it down that way, and we're gonna find a way to compartmentalize everything and put it all together. I definitely want to show my boy Rock. He love to cook, man, and like Big Corey said, man, a level of passion coming from Rock. That's why I let him cook, baby. Next time, Rock, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I might have to go ahead. I thought about it while you was doing, and this was the perfect time to let you cook, right? So next time, baby, on this. So
again, all right. Let me once.
Nah. Next time, bro, we gonna definitely let you cook. But yeah, I want you to write it down or send it to me, and we're gonna post it. That way, you can kind of describe it and show everybody once we finish.
We're still a work in progress. We'll do
that's
that.
That's it. But this your thing, bro. I wanted you to have the floor, man. It's your time. So, was that it? Other than reminding the people.
I like what Terminal said. Partially freeze the meat for easier cutting, especially. See, this is a guy who's done it before, and that's why I'm glad that the chat is in here right now. That is definitely what you want to do. If you partially freeze the meat, it's going to be way easier to cut that thing.
Well, this is exactly what you don't want to do. So don't do that when you're done, all right? Don't do that when you're done, man. But it's always good to step in Rock's kitchen, bro. My boy always know how to cook it up. And this is week 1 of that segment, man. So shout out to my boy Rock. Show him some love on that one in the comments. And let us know if you could taste the food through the screen, man. Because my boy got me over here wanting to cook something right now. So getting back to the show, though, Rock, man. We got a team. You know, you brought this question up. And hey, let's get straight to it, brother. The Commanders, the new dream team for or the new dream destination for players. Free agent wise, trade wise. You got guys like Debo Samuel's up for a trade right now. Washington looking for a receiver. T. Higgins is up right now, looking for a new home, possibly to be paid. Uh, you got other guys. Brandon Cooks is a little older, but maybe he might want to go there, go against the Cow. Who knows? Regardless, we know they need a receiver. They might even need a running back. So a lot of people saying B. Rob started off hot and then he fell off towards the end. But at the end of the day, how many guys are willing to ask for a trade or maybe take a pay cut or get paid the most just to go to Washington? We know they got like top 3 in cap space. So with them having the cap space they have, going to the NFC Championship game in year 1 of a rebuild season, and having J-Day, the ultimate alpha on the team, man. My boy Cliff sitting right there looking cool as ever, and Dan Quinn with the hat back. Man, matter of fact, shout out to Dan, man. We can put the hat back, man. Shout out my boy Dan, man. Shout out, show a little bit of salute to my boy, man. But end of the day, bro, are they a dream destination for a lot of these free agents and trade candidates that want to go to a new team, bro?
Well, it sounds like to me that you think that they are. You talked
I
about,
think they are. Sure.
You talked about Dan Quinn, who the other week when Joshua came on, coach. Yeah, he's the ultimate players coach. I think that he should have won Coach of the Year with the way that he took the franchise that hadn't been to the playoffs. What was it, 29 years or something like that, 30 years, taking them from a 4-win team all the way to the playoffs, not just in the playoffs.
NFC Championship.
They beat the shit out of the Lions, one of the best teams in the NFL, bro, and stuff like that. So they had him. They still got Cliff Kingsbury and what you talked about earlier. They're 3rd in cap space. Let me see how much they got. They got $68 million to play with in effective cap space. That's a whole lot of moolah in order to be able to give anyone that they want to be able to come to their team and play for their team. And you look at all the other teams that are around them, man, until you get to 5th, with the Chargers with $55 million. Man, so many of these teams that don't have much cap space, they're not playoff teams. The Commanders are a playoff team. Got the Patriots and Raiders ahead of them. They're not playoff teams. Cardinals, we talked about the Bears and stuff like that. Vikings actually have $53 million too. But regardless of all that cap space and stuff like that, I think if you are a defensive player with the amount of opportunities that are available, especially if you're a DB or a linebacker or a pass rusher, that's what they need, Yeah. So if you're one of those types of free agents and you want to play with a defensively minded coach, a player's coach, then you're going to want to play for them. But then let's not forget about the top of the story. Jaden Daniels being already one of the best quarterbacks in the league, rookie year, having best rookie season that we've ever seen before, going into Detroit and just completely commanding that team. Oh my God, I can't believe I just said command.
Take command.
That was good.
Take command. Hey, bro.
But so those are all the positive sides to it. I want to hear what else you got to say about that before I try to play devil's advocate.
Well, I say the positives to me is one, J-Day being right there, right? Me, I'm an ultimate Cliff guy, and I think Cliff he just needs the tools, bro. We always talk about the decline of how his offenses don't work out later in the year. But those same fans that were screaming that, I knew Cliff. Because remember, towards the end of the season, Washington kind of took a step back as far as how good they were on offense. And it was a lot of Cliff can't really pull it off late in the season. Then when the playoffs came, they forgot all about that happened, right? So I believe he just needs the tools. Every coach needs the tools, man. And Cliff only having, because remember, when starting off in the season, Terry McLaurin was nowhere to be found for like the first 2 or 3 weeks. And everybody was like, why Terry ain't getting the ball? Then it happened, right? He said, I got to get my guy the ball. Now they here. He ain't going nowhere now. I mean, they had, and he's now a free agent. What's the receiver name, Rock?
Are you talking about Olamide Zacchaeus? Are you talking about Brown?
Not Zacchaeus, not Brown. It was the last one, the one that was in the NFC Championship in the game against the Lions. That was how did I forget his name, bro? He's a free agent right now. No. Somebody in the comments, please give me this receiver. I don't know why I can't.
What team are you talking about?
The Commanders. It wasn't Zacchaeus. It wasn't Noah Brown. It was the last receiver. He's a free agent right now.
Oh
No, he Curtis Samuel in Buffalo, bro. Cause we sound like we don't know what we're talking about. But anyway,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, he had like 78 yards. He had the same amount of yards as Terry McLaurin in the last game, bro, against Detroit. Regardless, he made just look at the Detroit game. But anyway, he made him look good. And my point is, with let's just say a T. Higgins, who they would have to, I ain't gonna say overpay, but they would have to pay him a lot, right? You'd go down a tier. I'm not sure of all the free agent receivers coming out, but you got a couple receivers in the free agency, a couple receivers in the draft. It's guys out there that Cliff can cook with, bro, that don't have to be the top tier or better than Terry McLaurin. And the ultimate goal, if I'm a receiver, Diami Brown. There we go. All right. I know I ain't tripping, right? I know it was Diami Brown, which I read he's a free agent this year. So, like I said, when you look at this team, though, to me, it's the ultimate destination if I'm a fan on both sides. I mean, if I'm a player on both sides of the field, with Quinn being who he is, Cliff being who he is, and ultimately J-Day, man, will make me want to come just because I'm like, look, bro, I just want to feel the energy of what y'all just went through last year coming up. And why not bet on the underdog? You know, they came in as an underdog. You know, Philly is at the top of the ranks as far as the NFC. But if they did what they did in the NFC with that team, I want to be a part of it if I'm a free agent. So, and they got money. Hey, they might pay me a little bit more than these other people. So, I think they're a win-win destination on defense and offense if I'm a free agent, 100%.
So just to play a little bit devil's advocate, I got the salary cap space sheet that's up from Over the Cap. And there's still lots of good teams out there, really good teams, a lot of cap space, Fizz. So the Vikings, I would say probably maybe a step below the Commanders right now because they don't have a quarterback right now. We don't know what their quarterback situation is going to be. We keep going down. The Lions, it looks like they're still top 10. They got $42 million to play with. And here's the thing.
And they didn't pay everybody. That's just crazy.
That's the crazy thing is that they didn't lose any of their offensive playmakers last year. They're still going to be an elite team. They had the most IR injuries. I keep bringing this up, but it's crazy that they got the number 1 seed with like 16 players on IR just on defense. Yeah. So, and their head coach is still there with MCDC. So I think between the Lions and the Eagles, who, you know, we can't not talk about them. They're defending Super Bowl champions right now. And their team still looks like if they played tomorrow, they'd still beat the shit out of the Commanders. They beat the shit out of anybody. If they can just do what they
don't
just
forget
did
the Commanders beat them to end the season, though, bro. Commanders beat them on the last drive, but they beat them, though.
Yeah,
but Jalen Hurts got hurt, so I take that back.
I'm more of a what have you done for me lately, Fizz? And the last thing I saw was their defense completely making Jaden Daniels like completely inept. They couldn't do anything against that defense and stuff like that. So I think between the Lions, the Eagles, and we're not even talking about the AFC. If you don't want to go through the NFC side, the AFC side is probably an easier path. If you want to go to Baltimore, looks like they got, oh man, they only got $2 million. Eric Costa,
you just trying to recruit the players, man. Ain't nobody coming out there, man.
Exactly. But between the Ravens and the Bills, you know, the AFC is completely wide open. So it's just like you still got the Chiefs. We think that they're going to reload. We're not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes next year. He's got a fire in him that's unlike probably anything we're going to ever see for him and Lamar. They're going to be on their revenge tour next year. But with those two teams and the Lions and the Eagles, man, I think it's hard to argue with their path to the Super Bowl being a lot easier than what the Commanders are going to probably have.
I'm with you. So I'll just say this, man. That guy wearing number 5, hey, if he called me and said, hey, bro, I want you to come run with us, I might not turn it down. That's all I'm saying, you know? So if I'm a free agent, whether I play cornerback, D-line, O-line, I don't matter. If he called me, hey, man, I might have to come through, see what y'all got going on in D.C. So,
well, that makes us feel special. When you want to be wanted and needed, when someone calls you up, it's hard to say no.
So I'm saying, so it'd be hard for me, man. So hopefully, you know, they figure it out soon. And I don't know if these guys are ever going to figure it out, but let's talk about them anyway. Can the Cowboys win a playoff game with this new guy as the head coach, man? I don't even want to say his name, but Brian Schottenheimer is in the building. You know, He got the hoodie on. He got the sun visor hat. He's cool. Uh, I'm gonna be honest, Rock. To me, it's bigger than a playoff game, bro. It needs to be NFC championship level winning because they've won playoff games. I mean, it's minimal, but I'm saying they've won at least one or two under McCarthy, or they lead the league in offense and then don't win jack. So I think winning one game won't spell nothing to me other than we know y'all can do this. What are you gonna do after that? Win. You know what I'm saying? So yes, I do believe they can win a playoff game. I do believe they'll make the playoffs because I think coming into the season, most people had them at least at 9 wins, right? Coming into last year. So coming into this year with a fully healthy team, Micah Parsons came in, man, and changed that whole offense. I mean, changed the whole team, perspective. Like they was winning games that I didn't want them to win because Micah Parsons came back and they was putting pressure on everybody. So I will say I believe they can win 10 games. I believe they will make the playoffs, but will they win a playoff game? I ain't gonna say I believe it till I see it, Rock. So the answer is no. If you're asking me, I'm not banking on them to win jack in the playoffs, but I do have them winning and competing. The NFC, the NFC is tricky, man. The NFC, man, one team like the Commanders can go 3 wins and all of a sudden make the NFC championship. So in the NFC, bro, we got the Bears, who we just talked about earlier. It's always tough in the NFC for different teams every single year. We know in the AFC is Baltimore, Bills, Chiefs, and maybe Cleveland, Bengals, whatever. But not Cleveland. I'm sorry, I'm tripping. Pittsburgh is what I meant to say. But NFC though, bro, is always a different plethora of teams, man. And who saw the Commanders doing what they doing? I think, but the couple years forward when Dak broke his leg, Dallas won 4 games, and then right after that, they went and won 12 games in a row, 2 years straight. So I just say this to say I believe they will make the playoffs, but I can't promise you they're going to win anything beyond that first game on the wild card game, bro.
All right, so I want to try to do the impossible and try to argue for Brian Schottenheimer, who everyone has given an F or a D. I mean, that's one of the things that pisses me off the most. You get all these coaches, all these new hires going into all these, a lot of them are really tough situations like Kellen Moore, the freaking Saints and stuff like that. But man, you want to give a guy who's never been a head coach before an F or a D grade and all these different TV shows and all that kind of stuff. Man, he hasn't even coached a single snap yet. Just like the same way these rookies haven't, played a single down yet. And people want to give all these grades and all this other kind of stuff. But that's just my own little personal feeling about that kind of stuff.
I know you like the underdogs. You like the underdogs. I
like the underdogs, but I also like giving people a chance.
I'm with you, Robert. I'm gonna say this for Jerry. This is why I feel like it's an F, right? Because Jerry acts like this team, and the world acts like it, right? It's the biggest team in sports. It makes the most money, the richest franchise all around the world, right? So if you have, you coming through, and you got a Bentley, you coming through the neighborhood in a Bentley. Are you gonna give it to some guy that just walked out of McDonald's? Or are you gonna give it to a guy that you believe is $1 billion, guy? You know what I'm saying? So this is the problem with this hiring with Brian. It's nothing against him. It's Jerry promoting his product is the best thing in the world, and then he's hiring the help more so than the guy who can really come in and open doors for the building. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like picking up the average Joe and then putting them at the top of you can't do it, bro. If you acting like this franchise is the biggest, richest thing on the planet, Tom Brady need to be a coach or something. I don't know, but I'm just saying it gotta be a guy that everybody looks at and says, wow, I can't believe he's there. You know what I'm saying? And with Jerry always hiring these regular average Joes, you're not selling us the product that you're giving out. You're not giving us what you acting like this is worth.
So let's break down this hiring process. And I think it's a good place to start when it comes to evaluating Brian Schottenheimer. Brian has been with the Cowboys the last 3 years. So Jerry Jones has some familiarity with them.
He's keeping it in-house. He keeping it in-house.
He's seen him at the water cooler. He's had conversations with him. He knows who he is.
Yep.
Brian Schottenheimer has been coaching in the NFL since 1997, Fizz, which is crazy. He has all this wealth of experience, and his father is one of the greatest head coaches of his era with Marty Schottenheimer. So people hate on Jerry Jones, but like you said before, he's built the most profitable sports brand in sports history in the world. So I don't know about this, but I think he knows how to conduct business. I think he knows how to find talent. So this whole Jerry Jones, being a meddlesome owner, I think is overplayed. I think people need to come up with a new narrative because it's getting freaking old. Because that's the
Sound
only
like
thing
you a
that people
Cowboys
say.
fan, man.
Well,
Go ahead,
I'm
Rock.
just saying, I'm like somebody where I don't like to pass judgment on anyone until I look them in the eyes and shake their hand. So
I'm
it's
with
just
you.
like I try to look at things in the most positive light, and I like to look at the results. What Jerry Jones has done with the results speak more volumes than the narratives that people have about him on the radio, on TV, on ESPN, all that other kind of stuff. So I try to drown out all that noise, and I try to just think this guy has built one of the best brands out there. Yes, they haven't been able to translate the playoff wins. Man, it's freaking hard to win in the NFL, man. It's just like you
Sure.
can have all these different things go right, but when it comes to all these different things that I was talking about before, I want to give Jerry Jones the benefit of the doubt. What somebody
Look,
just said?
even Pop said he agreed. Please let Jerry keep handling business. He's saying that
He's a
saying
Commanders fan.
this is what I'm saying, bro. But he right though. Like if I don't like the team, yeah, he doing a good job. Keep doing it. But go ahead, Rock. I ain't gonna let him keep cooking, bro.
Okay,
Keep doing your thing.
so I think the other thing that we need to think about too is that the Cowboys already have two cornerstone pieces. They got Dak Prescott, they got CeeDee Lamb. They are solidified at two of the most important positions in football. Last year, I said that the 2024 Bengals with Burrow and Chase were going to be the 2023 Cowboys with Dak and Lamb, where they just completely lit up the league. And that's what ended up happening. In 2025, this upcoming season, I expect the Cowboys to repeat what they did 2 years ago. Dak's worst season was in 2019 when they went 8-8 with him when he was healthy. Every other season he's been healthy, he's led into the playoffs, like you said before. It's usually 12 wins and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So when you have that, you have a chance, despite all the issues that they're going to have on defense and stuff like that. But here's the thing: the NFL draft, the Cowboys are still one of the best drafting teams in the
100%.
NFL. Man, I can't tell you how many times the Ravens have picked right after the Cowboys, and they always pick the player that I really, really want. So,
Yeah, I love our drafting, bro. But I don't mean to cut you off, Rock. But and it's the problem though. Jerry, he knows his stuff, bro. I love our draft process. I don't doubt any pick. Only one I doubted was Michael Mayer. I wanted us to draft him so bad, and then we didn't. We drafted Luke Schoonmaker like a round before, a round after, which was crazy to me. Outside of little stuff like that, though, I know he knows his stuff, bro. It's just I believe that's why he don't let his players go. When people think he wasn't gonna pay Dak, I knew he was gonna pay Dak. People thought, oh, the CeeDee Lamb, he's gonna pay Michael Parsons, bro. I promise you. He keeps his guys that he drafted. They like his babies, his kids, whatever you gonna call them. He keeps them in house. The problem is the coaching is the same way. Jason Garrett was there before when he was under what's my boy, man? I feel bad. My boy, big guy, man. I forgot his name. He drove him crazy too. Anyway, Jason Garrett was there for too long. I think they got Mike McCarthy because McCarthy took a year off. I think if McCarthy came straight from Green Bay, I don't think he would have got the job. I think he took a year off, and then Jerry forgot about him. So now I gave him a chance to
he
say,
needed that energy to deal with Jerry Jones.
I believe he did. So Mike came there, instant success, 12-4 or 12. He won 12 game seasons. My problem is, Rock, at the end of the day, I believe this team can win 10 games, 11 games. But when it comes to the playoffs, that's when the believers become believers and the fakers are the fakers. And you can lead the league in every passing category you want, which I believe Dak will at some point this year. Where the heart going to be at on week one of the playoffs, bro? That's what it comes down to. And I think teams like the Commanders, if you look at their roster, bro, their roster is worse than ours on paper, 100%. But they had heart, bro. They had belief. They walked in there and saw Dan Quinn and said, I'm a ride for you, coach. I don't know if these guys, now I could be wrong, because the good thing is, I think Jerry, like you said, Jerry's looking at Brian and saying, hey, he's been around. He's been here for 3 years. Maybe the players have a better connection with him than we think. You know what I'm saying? The fans don't. Maybe the players like, look, y'all tripping. We good with Brian. So hopefully that's the case. I just don't see it. I don't believe it. But I don't mean to cut you off, but it just hit me like, I think it's going to have to come down to heart, bro. And I don't never think Jason Garrett was the answer. I didn't think McCarthy was. maybe Bryant is that guy that's been laying around in the locker room after the game, talking to the players, dapping them up, shaking their hands, saying, "Hey, I got you. I'm here." You know what I'm saying? Maybe he built up something that we didn't see behind the scenes, and that's why Jerry kept him. So you could be right, Rob.
Well, there's a famous saying that says that only God can see the heart. That's it. Man
All right.
cannot see the heart. So we're not going to necessarily know who these players are at heart until the shit hits the fan.
Yeah,
And
you're right.
when the ball gets thrown in the air, when the first snap comes and the first hits are being done, it's just like that's when we're going to see what this team is. But with Dak Prescott, with CeeDee Lamb, and also too with their ability to draft, the two biggest needs that I see with these Cowboys is D line and RB. Guess what the two best positions are in this upcoming class? It's D line, the depth that they have there, and it's going to be RB
Yes,
with the
sir.
depth
You're
and
right.
talent they have there. So they have lots of needs that they have on defense.
You're
And
right.
it's your boy Matt Eberflus that's calling the defense. So that's going to be really interesting as well. But
But sometimes play coaches are better as
oh
DCs
yeah,
and
yeah,
not,
yeah. Yeah, he is a good DC. He's just not a good head coach. It doesn't matter
yeah.
how much of a beard he grows and all that kind of bullshit. But anyway, I think they put themselves in a tough position with the contracts. So them signing CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott in 2024 to two of the biggest contracts that we've ever seen. It's limited their options. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what they do with Micah Parsons and if they're going to be able to keep him. But they're going to have to make some really, really tough decisions.
Yeah, they are.
But the best thing that they're going to be able to do is to be able to get some of these needs in the draft.
A-
So,
And we know they're hitting the draft, bro. They're hitting the draft.
yeah.
They know what they're doing.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I think that the other to more of your point, if I wanted to argue with the other side and stuff like that, if they continue to make the decisions that they did with these tough contracts, their team majorly regressed last year. So if they sign Micah Parsons to a huge contract the way they did with Lamb and with Dak Prescott last year, and they're gun shy in the offseason because they're afraid to spend money because they just spent all that money. If they do not attack this offseason, then we should expect a lot more of the same with next year. It's not going to
Yeah.
be as bad because they had Cooper Rush playing for most of the year and stuff like that. But it's not going to be a playoff team if they're gun shy. And after signing Micah Parsons to a huge contract because they're afraid, oh, no one's going to want to come watch the team because all we got is two cornerstone players, not three. So they have to be aggressive in the offseason. And what else? Oh, they're in the NFC East. They got to play against the freaking Eagles. They got to play against the Commanders. And who knows what's going to happen with the Giants and stuff like that.
We know what's going to happen with Giants. They're going to be trash, baby. We ain't going to worry about them, man. But
Well,
I will.
they haven't
Go
had a
ahead, Rob.
quarterback. They haven't Drew Lock and freaking Tommy Pizza.
Well, your part in it, what you said, how the team kind of like folded towards the end of the season or this year. I think that was just lack of belief in McCarthy, and I think they was just, they just came to work like, oh, coach, you ain't talking about nothing. We just go out here, play ball, see whatever. So I do believe Micah will be with the team, and again, they're gonna make the playoffs, but will they win the game? That's the biggest question. So last but not least, though, Rock, we're gonna look at one of the biggest topics, the biggest free agent conversation, the guy that just got franchise tagged yesterday. So maybe he's not a free agent. I don't know. Maybe he stays there. But T. Higgins, man. T. Higgins, I mean, franchise tag for another year. So I don't know what the tag is this year, but I know it's a hell of a lot of money. So one, will he break the bank? And two, will he bring instant success? Breaking the bank to me is, of course, he's going to be the number one paid free agent receiver this year. Like, he's the number one guy. But is he going to demand that, will he get more money than St. Brown, right? St. Brown just got paid. The problem is T. Higgins is injured a lot, bro. Like, will teams kind of knock that off and say, hey, man, we ain't seen a lot of you because you've been hurt? Well, they try to give him a short deal. Terry McLaurin. Remember, we went through that phase of Terry McLaurin, Michael Pittman. They signed 3-year deals instead of those 5-year, 4-year, 100+ million. We seen Devonta Smith kind of take a discount in Philly. So what is breaking the bank for T. Higgins? And also with a new team, I listed a couple, especially from the odd numbers that I saw online. The Bengals. They need to sign Jamar Chase. Can they sign Higgins and Chase? That's what Joe Burrow said that they can, and he's willing to take a loss, to keep him around. The Chargers, we all know, could use another receiver. Will they take Keenan Allen, or will they say, hey, man, let's get our guy in T. Higgins? The Broncos, I didn't even know that this was the team that was out there, but they are in the odds of a landing spot. And I actually thought about it and said, hey, man, with Corlin Sutton and T. Higgins, bro, listen, go buy some more Bo Nix shares, man, if that's the case, bro. It's time to hurry up if that ended up happening. And, of course, with Cooper Kupp leaving, I just don't see the Rams paying him top dollar to come in. I think they're going to try to find another route. But in case I put them up there, and then ultimately the Commanders were having almost $70 million, having Terry McLaurin and T. Higgins, bro, would be crazy. So will he break the bank, Rock? How much do you think his bank is worth? And instantly, when he comes in 2025 to whatever team, even with the Bengals, if he stays in the Bengals, will this be a T. Higgins season, or will he just get paid and kind of lay back in the shade for a little bit, bro? How you feeling?
So, with the first thing I wanted to talk about is the contracts. So, I got over the cap up right now. I have all the wide receiver contracts up. Justin Jefferson leads the NFL as he should. He's the best wide receiver. He's got a $140 million deal, 35 per year, 110 guaranteed. Then you got CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tyreek Hill, Brandon Ayuk, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Adams, DJ Moore. So there is a huge, with those names, I think there's a huge tier gap when it comes to talent. I think it's hard to argue with Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and maybe even Tyreek Hill. Because there ain't no wide receivers out there like them in the NFL. They're just completely unstoppable. There is a huge teardrop, though, when it comes to when you get Jalen Waddle. I think that the fact that he is paid in the top 10 is pretty insane because he hasn't done that much since his rookie year with Miami. And then Devontae Adams, he comes in, he's a winning player. He changes around the offense and stuff like that. So I think it's hard to argue with Devontae Adams. Let him get his money. DJ Moore, he had one really good year with Justin Fields with the Bears. I'm not sure if he's worth being the first Bears player to ever get a $100 million contract. I think that's pretty insane.
It's tough. That's tough.
Then you got your dude Cooper Kupp. He had an $80 million deal, $26.7 million. Then you get Devontae Smith, Nico Collins, DK Metcalf. So for me personally, T. Higgins, I think, definitely does deserve to be a top 10 wide receiver. And if I had to slot him somewhere, I think he's going to get paid in the Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tyreek Hill range. I think he's probably going to be a top 5 wide receiver. Now, because with Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Amon-Ra, he'd be number 5 if he went ahead of Tyreek Hill. So,
respectable.
So with the way that he ended last year, he did completely take over. The only chance they had, with the Bengals even making the playoffs was going to be with both him and Jamar Chase on the field. Now, here's the thing that we've never seen before. If he's going to be a top 5 wide receiver, are the Bengals going to be able to afford to give Jamar Chase the number 1 contract?
That's the question.
History. Because right now with the franchise tag, he's getting paid $26.2 million. That's what it's going to cost the Bengals if they want to keep him. If they do that, he's going to be right ahead of Devontae Smith, who's the wide receiver 10. He'd be the 9th highest paid wide receiver. There's no way that T. Higgins is going to want to sign that contract. He hasn't wanted to sign that franchise tag last year. He's not going to want to sign it this year. So I think they're not going to be able to keep him on that tag. I think they're going to have to trade him after they tag him, which I think has been the number one thing they wanted to do anyway. They want to get something for him. Yeah. So they're going to get a draft pick. But I don't think there's any way that they can sign both him and Chase. They can't have 2 top 5 wide receivers.
The only way they do that, Rock, is if they say, Chase, listen, you cannot be the number 1 paid receiver if we keep T. Higgins. There's no way, right? There's no way that can happen. We seen AJ Brown and Smitty get signed, but Smitty not even top 5. So there's no way you can pay Chase and Higgins a year apart. It just won't happen, bro. You got to tell him put his pride to the side.
Can you imagine that phone call? It's like, hey, Chase, we know that you just got the triple crown, and that's only happened like 3 other times in NFL history. We know that you're the best wide receiver and probably the best Bengal we've ever seen. Yeah, we're gonna want you to sign a lower contract than
I'm
Justin
with you.
Jefferson or CeeDee Lamb. That's not gonna happen.
You know how you do that? You get Joe Burrow to tell him. I ain't telling him. You go get Joe Burrow to tell him. Hey, Joe, we need you to hit him up, man. I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way. Because I'm with you though. I don't see it happening. And I could see him throwing fits, not coming to work some days. Like he's giving us. I don't mean to throw that on him, but he's giving us, that kind of aura. So I think T. Higgins is good as gone. If you ask me, Rock. The question is, where is his landing spot there, and will he bring instant success when he goes?
So when I looked at some of the biggest free agents that are like top 10 talent wide receivers that have been signed to new teams, it hasn't really happened over the last few years. Probably the biggest one that we saw was freaking Calvin Ridley go sign a 4-year, $92 million deal to go from the Jaguars to the Titans.
Yeah.
And with no quarterback, it's just like it didn't really matter. It was between him and Tony Pollard being their whole offense, but they're picking number 1 overall. So it's just like when you're looking at the possible destinations that can afford him, it's just like the one option that I've seen floated out the most. I don't know if we could go to the Vegas odds of where his number 1 option is, but I would be surprised if it's not the New England Patriots. Now, unlike the Titans, the New England Patriots do have a competent quarterback. Him being a rookie quarterback, I think he is a huge upgrade compared to if he would have went to the Titans situation that Calvin Ridley had. But we don't necessarily see lots of big names like T. Higgins and his talent go to new teams. Darnell Mooney, he went to a new team last year. He really helped out that offense. Hollywood Brown was another notable free agent last year. Unfortunately, he got hurt, so we didn't get to see him there. So what we're talking about now is kind of unprecedented as far as like big names go. Usually what we see, I think of AJ Brown, I think of Randy Moss, but those guys were trades. They didn't hit the free market and then get a massive contract and stuff like that. But AJ Brown and Randy Moss, they did completely change their offenses around,
100%.
So T. Higgins, he does, I think, have the talent and the capability that we saw last year to be a number 1. Everyone's been shitting on him ever since Chase has come into the Bengals and just completely taken over. So everyone said you can't be a number 1 wide receiver and not be the number 1 wide receiver in your team. But that's kind of unfair when you're playing with Jamar Chase. So I think he is a number 1 on just about every other team. And I think he does really help out that offense, but it just depends where he goes. Because if he goes to the Chargers, he goes to the Rams, he goes to the Commanders, he goes to the Broncos, those are all playoff teams that we're talking about. The only playoff team that's non-playoff team that's on here is the Bengals. I don't think he can stay with the Bengals, not just because of the money, but also to their team makeup. Their defense just needs so much help. So I think for the best of the team, they can't let him stay there. Jamar Chase is more than enough. They have Yosevas, they have Chase Brown, they have some playmakers, and they're going to draft some playmakers.
Knucklehead Burton, man. My boy Jermaine Burton, man. Oh, man.
So we just got to hope that with Jermaine Burton, because he was one of my favorite wide receivers in the draft too. Hopefully
he can't get it right
out of his ass. Hopefully it's a second, third year breakout, like what happens with a lot of wide receivers. So let's just cross our fingers for Jermaine Burton that he figures it out. I don't know. What are you thinking about the where would you want him to be if he could sign anywhere? What do you think his best situation is?
Well, the Commanders would be number 1 if I had to say, because it would ultimately give J-Day. No, like, I'm not saying he has excuses now, but you got T. Higgins, Terry McLaurin is crazy, and you got the cap space, so there's no reason why you couldn't at least attempt to make the move. I believe the Patriots, from what I was hearing, he said he didn't want to go there, and I could be wrong, but I thought I heard him say that's not a destination for him, so that's why I didn't put them up here. Now they probably have the most to offer him as far as money, but my 2 teams would have to be, man, the Broncos and the Commanders, bro. I want to see them with them 2 young rookies and be there for the next 3 years. And have a good time, man. Sean Payton and Cliff Kingsbury, bro. I would love to see him in one of those offenses and being across from somebody, it kind of be like you said with the Chase thing. People kind of still hating on T and not thinking he's the number one. If he goes to Washington across from McLaurin, or he goes across from Sutton after seeing what Sutton just did with Bo, it's kind of like he's going back to what he was already into. Not saying that neither one of McLaurin or Sutton is Jamar Chase, but he's still not looked at, I guess, as the big dog coming into the building. So maybe he don't want to go to those teams. He want to go somewhere where he is that guy. And a team like LA, we know Puka is Puka. And the Chargers, they got Ladd, but they play two different kind of games. So I don't know, man. I want to see T in Washington or the Broncos. But if he wants to be a true number one, I believe the Patriots is the team he should go to because he can walk circles around that receiving room. So,
you want to hear the biggest odds?
What you got?
This is as of 6 days ago. The Broncos are the highest.
I saw that earlier.
3-1. Washington is 4-1 right after that. The Steelers, who we did not bring up, they definitely need a wide receiver. Can you imagine him staying in the AFC North? Oh, I don't want to see that either.
And I don't think they pay him. I don't think they want to pay him. So that's why I didn't put them up. But I'm with you, though.
Yeah, they don't typically like to pay their wide receivers. But
at all.
Yeah, and if he goes to, Pittsburgh, there's a pretty good chance that he'll get some sort of head trauma and just become completely insane. The Chargers are right after them, 6-1. Patriots are 7-1. The Titans are 9-1. And then the Bills are 10-1. So then you get a whole bunch of other teams. But yeah, it would be I could completely foresee all these teams that I just named. They all need wide receivers pretty badly.
So before we end the conversation, Rob, fantasy wise, right? You trading for T. Higgins right now. You need him on your team. You a T. Higgins fan. What's your favorite fantasy 2025 destination that is going to help your receiver room right now when you make this trade?
Man, that's a good question. I would have to say it would have to be the Broncos because I want him to go to a situation where he has a good quarterback. There is not that much of a run game. Their defense is good enough that they're going to continue to give their offense plenty of opportunities. But yeah, I need him to be the number one guy. If he goes to the Commanders, he's going to be complimentary at best to Terry McLaurin because I just have that much respect for Terry McLaurin. If he goes to the Steelers, he probably could beat out George Pickens because he doesn't have his things figured out and stuff like that. Oh, damn. And then the Chargers, I think him and Ladd McConkey would be like the same thing with Commanders. It would also be complimentary as well. Definitely don't want him going to the Titans because they don't have a quarterback. But the Buffalo Bills, I think, would be my second best option after the Denver Broncos. So I don't want to give too much, hate to Courtland Sutton, but I think T. Higgins is a better wide receiver for him. Courtland Sutton has been very solid wide receiver, way overperforms what he usually does. But yeah, I would love to see him either in Denver or in Buffalo. What about you?
My damn dog he really hates T. Higgins. So me personally though, bro, if fantasy wise, come here, G. Fantasy wise, give me 1 second, bro. I'm trying to undertalk him.
Yeah, so one of the other things that I wrote about with T. Higgins as well, just how good of a wide receiver he is, just so that we can just talk about that he is worth whatever contract that he gets. Where is he, T. Higgins? So he was in contested catches. He was top 6 in the league. Air yard share, he had 40.4%. That's top 6 in the league. First downs per route run, 0.132. That's also top 6 in the NFL. So when it came to critical situations, how many times did we see Joe Burrow throw to T. Higgins on a critical down, a critical touchdown, and him come through? But then also, too, the team usage as well. When the Bengals, they really did heavily rely on their wide receivers last year. But T. Higgins, he was averaging 31.3 when it came to team usage. That's also top 6 in the NFL. So that's through Underdog and Hayden Winks. So T. Higgins, he was a clear league winner last year. So he has that talent. So wherever he goes next year, I think he's going to continue to be a league winner. I'd be willing to give up a late first just because now I'm getting into the rookies. And whenever I start to get into the rookies, especially for this draft guide, I fall in love with these rookies. I don't want to give up an early pick for some. I want the new shiny toy. So
Yeah. Well, I say this, Rob. Me personally, before this crazy dude right interrupted me, I will say, for fantasy, I want him to stay with the Bengals, bro. And for no other reason than I know Jamar Chase is going to take every single rep from him that he can. But when you look at that defense, they're going to have to put up 40 points a game like they did this year. And the more points the offense has to score, the better chances T. Higgins has a good season. So, I don't want him to go nowhere like Pittsburgh or maybe even the Broncos, because I think the Broncos defense is so good, they won't need to throw the ball to T. Higgins, 15 times a game. And I think in Cincinnati, with them being so bad on defense, bro, they will have to throw the ball to him, multiple double-digit targets a game. So if I had to pick a team, it would be the Bengals for me. Stay where he is. Let the defense be trash for another 2 years, man, and just have to keep throwing the ball, bro.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we done the show anyway, right? So I guess he was telling me to get your ass off the screen. So I will say though, man, Adam just hit me up. He sent the link through. We got that coming through. I don't know if anybody caught us at the beginning, so we're gonna end this with the good old promo for that. Hey, what I want to promo for the draft guy. There we go. Promo for the draft guy. We get the draft guide up. You put in the link early in the chat earlier, bro. I ain't see it in
I
there.
did. It's at the very beginning, and after we talk about the draft guide, I want to hit at some of these comments too as well.
Okay, cool. Am I missing comments or am I tripping, right? Okay, all right, cool. Oh yeah. So we got Terminal. There we go. Let's bring this up before we get up out of here, man. He say he want to holler at you, Rob. Where your restaurant at? What city, man? You trying to come eat some of them noodles you got cooking up, brother?
So I'm living in Seabus, Columbus, Ohio. Valentina's is the name of a restaurant. It's part of a restaurant group called Cameron Mitchell Restaurants, and we're in different states, but we started in Columbus. We started in Ohio, so we got a whole bunch of restaurants here. Valentina's is an Italian restaurant. So in our first year, we won Best Italian and Best New Restaurant. Over 1 million people voted. We were in 2 different publications. So it's hard to be able to do good Italian, Fizz. And that's my favorite type of food, along with some other ones and stuff like that. But I'm very proud to be able to work where I'm working right now. Make a mean tiramisu and lots of other things that are absolutely amazing. We spend like 8 to 10 hours on all of our sauces and stuff. So if people come in, man, it's always good to be able to see them. I invite all my friends and family to be able to come in. So yeah, if you ever come to Columbus, just make sure that you hit me up, and I'll be able to show you guys a good time, on the town and stuff like that. And also appreciate Big Corey. I definitely have a passion of food. We've talked about food before. We've talked about brisket. That's my other love, is barbecue. So being able to talk with him about that. And like AJ, what he says here with the Ravens always getting the players before the Eagles do. Man, you guys need to stop winning so damn much, then you guys would drop ahead of us. Oh, you're muted, Fizz.
And that for a reason, because AJ want to hear. I said, nobody give a damn about the Eagles, AJ. Get out of here, man. But yeah, man, we appreciate y'all coming through, man. Look, next week we gonna have my boy Rock put that menu up for y'all, man. So you ain't got to worry about writing it down, trying to figure out what the hell we got going on. Yeah. But I will say again, man, shout out to the team, shout out to everybody working on this draft guide, top 50 players on offense for your fantasy dynasty leagues. If you don't play fantasy or dynasty, you just want to learn about these guys and who they compare to when your real team take them. Go ahead and tap in with that, man. Rock say he got it in here somewhere. We'll leave it in the comments again. And right when you sign up, baby, you're going to get this in your email, or maybe you get a link straight to you. I don't know how Cooper got it hooked up, but either way, it's going to be hooked up and it's coming straight to you live. $8.99 right now for the draft guide. After the 23rd, it'll be $11.99. So if you want to come through and support or figure out what you got going on with these rookies, go ahead and do that. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. And we'll be here next Tuesday like we always do, baby. Till next week.
They wrote me off. I ain't right.